Hey, welcome back. So today we're gonna do something a little bit different. Mark and I are gonna tell you the cheapest and most expensive pieces of gear that we cannot live and function without.
Yeah, and more importantly, what did Sean Connery say when the book fell on his head? I only have my shelf to blame.
So we know there's a lot of conversations had about what pieces of equipment every photographer needs to have, and to be honest, we think those conversations are a little bit silly. There's some stuff you just can't cheap out on, but there's some stuff that the cheaper versions probably work better in general, and so without further ado, I'm gonna show you the cheapest piece of gear that I take everywhere with me. And it is this plastic tractor stool. This stool, I believe, has a 1-star rating on Amazon. It has a reputation for breaking, for being cheap, for using cheap parts, and all of that is totally true. But for me, this is a fantastic pickup because if I'm shooting a lookbook, or I'm shooting e-com, or I'm shooting ready to wear for somebody, there's a really good chance that they want their frame for every look, let's say 120 looks a day, to have the exact same head height and framing. When you're shooting on a stool, lots of people use photographer stools.
Yeah, I have one with the heated seat warmer.
You would.
The drinks cup and the Bluetooth control to go up and down. You don't like that one?
The funny thing about that is that the fancy photographer stools don't have any of those features.
No.
They're just made out of like clear Lexan plastic, and they come with a bunch of risers that don't move, and you can switch them out to change your head height like ½ inches at a time. They're great, they're comfortable. They cost about 1,200 bucks. So for that, I say go with this cheap one. It is sometimes cheaper to buy a stool like this and deliver it to the studio that you're gonna shoot at than it is to rent an Apple box or rent a stool or rent a director's chair. So this is just an awesome piece, and when it breaks, and it will because it sucks, I'm gonna buy another one and I won't think twice about it. It'll probably fit in a trash can. Another thing I haven't even thought about. Good advantage.
I gotta admit, I used to laugh when Alex showed up with his stool, right? He'd just show up, he'd have his stool under his arm. Most people come in with a camera and stuff. Alex has got his stool.
Most of my clients provide a camera.
But in all honesty, I probably use it more than you do right now. And what I love about this, when you look it up on Amazon, they come in all different colors. So at the moment, I'm kind of considering what color to buy so Alex and I can have matching stools.
What's gonna happen is he's gonna buy the same color and put both of them at his desk.
Let's go back when people had this thing that we don't have anymore. It's completely gone. Budget. Do you remember budgets?
I've heard about them.
So there was this thing called budget. But anyway, so you were going to a studio to do a portrait, you're going to do something, you go, I can have a grey 9-foot seamless, and a blue 9-foot seamless, and then a yellow 9-foot seamless, and you get all these seamlesses, and if you used it, you used it, and if you paid for it, you paid for it, and you know, that was it. Fast forward to today's wonderful world of photography, where basically you have $4, make it happen. So I was struggling a lot with doing these individual intimate portraits that I love to do and having to take seamless or different kind of backdrops and backdrop stands and crossbars for all these small spaces. So I went into our friends at PhotoCare one day and I was saying, what you got? And like some kind of thing for a portable, I need a gray, a white, a black. And they showed me this.
Oh, I do remember this day.
PXB background kit, and I looked at it and I looked at the gray you can buy different colors, but I looked at this particular gray, which when people sell kind of these background kits with mottled grays, it's really disgusting, but this one,
yeah, that's a good 50%.
This beautiful 50% gray. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it, and $200 for the whole thing. Maybe I think
60 like a piece,
60
right?
a piece for these. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, it really changed how I was able to do my work swiftly, do it more nimbly, and be able to get in and out of spaces, be able to do it myself, get it in a bigger bag to go on trips, and I cannot live without it. I absolutely love it. I'm not envious of Alex very much for anything. I mean, he's from Alabama. But one of the things that I really respect about Alex and his gear is that he does not care. He uses what he has and he makes it work, and he laughs at me sometimes with my nonsense, with like, oh, you gotta got that one, it's called Bluetooth. And he's just really, so it was challenging for you to find something that was really of a high dollar value.
So let me explain. So I'm sorry, I have this lens so well affixed to this graphite lens board. I didn't want to mess up the lens board taking it off. But so what I have is an old vintage Schneider 180 millimeter large format lens on a Coppola shutter, and it's probably worth a couple $1,000. And it's a beautiful lens, and it makes beautiful photos, and I love working with it. And I was trying to explain to our director why this lens is so great, and it's because it feels right, and I can sing the song without looking at it. I chose this because I love using this lens. I don't often get to pull out my 4x5 camera when I'm doing work that is not just personal creative work, but I still find myself dragging it around a whole bunch because I want to use it, because I want to make those interesting film shots.
So you always have that in your kit?
Well, yeah, because I very often collapse that Toyo on the rail and drop it into a tiny Pelican case.
So it's like a comfort food?
Yeah, the chance that it comes out is very low. Very low.
Right.
It's just like this comfort thing in case, like, maybe we're making something beautiful and everyone on set's like, oh my God, what else could we do? Which will never happen. It's never happened and never will happen.
Right.
But just in case one day it happens, I keep dragging this piece of shit around with me. This is my most expensive piece that I just can't live without. I have an idea what yours is, but what do you bring?
The most expensive thing that I think I really can't live without is also a lens. When
of course it is.
When Leica brought out the S system, they brought out, and I'm going to read it to make sure I get it right, is an APO macro Sumeri S1 to 2.5 120 millimeter lens. Now, if you were comparing this to a 35 millimeter lens on a 35 millimeter body, it would be about, the length would be about 98, like about a 98, and the f-stop would be f2. And for me, it has become my holy grail of portrait lenses. I would say that over the last 8 years since I've been using this lens, I've done 90% of my portrait work with it. I miss it desperately when it's not in my bag. Now, it's a $7,500 lens to buy new, which is a ridiculous amount of money. My feeling about that,
I was gonna say, under $8,000, not that high for Leica lenses.
I mean, I'm just knowing that people spend $3,000 in a lens, go, oh my God, I've just bought this amazing, amazing lens. And I'm like, well, and part of that comes from, and it's so hard not to sound like a complete knob here, but part of it is, I have drunk the Kool-Aid. I mean, I'm full of Leica Kool-Aid, we all know that. But the bottom line is, it's coming from a factory in a place where there's over 100 years of lens making experience. I've been there. I've watched them craft the lenses by hand. I've seen them throw out pieces because the curvature is just wrong. And I know when it left the factory, it was absolutely pristine. It has a little character now from being Mark Mann's for a little while. But to me, it is totally worth it. It's totally justifiable, and it is one piece of equipment that I can really say has also not only made me happy as a photographer, but also influenced how my work looks.
Okay guys, so I hope that was fun and informative, or at least fun. Please comment below and let us know what pieces of gear you can't do without. We're interested to know about the high-end pieces of gear you have, but we are really interested to hear what the crappiest pieces of equipment that you just can't live without are.
And I think it'd be super fun if you guys can tell us in the comments. We love comments. We need comments. Comments. But if you tell us in the comments some of your crappiest pieces of gear, we would actually love to get them in here and shoot some stuff with them. And,
oh yeah, that'd be super cool.
So we'd love to do that. And we can only do that if you leave us something in the comments.
In the comments.
There's an area that you can comment in the thing, so do the comments.
Okay, thanks so much for watching. See you later.
Bye everyone.